we had a very enjoyable dinner the other night, and we were talking about this woke world we now live in. And you said you weren't even really sure what woke means, other than severe political correctness. What is happening to the world that we've become so ultra-sensitive, so politically correct?
I don't know, but I think it's rather stupid. I am not politically correct. And as I said to someone recently, you can print that. Why do we have to be politically correct? It's silly.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because yesterday Piers made a criticism of one of the party leaders, Jo Swinson, who's the woman, of course, who leads the Liberal Democrats. And the criticism he used was the word bossy. Now, a lot of people take exception to that because they think bossy is a word that is only applied to women. You would never describe a man, for instance, as bossy, and therefore it's sexist. Do you think so?
No, I don't think it's sexist. Well, where does it come from? It must come from boss.
Yeah.
Bossy.
To boss someone around.
You know, Bob always said to me, I didn't know, well, to other people, I didn't know I'd married the second Margaret Thatcher because I am bossy, but he was bossy. And
this is your late husband.
My late husband.
Sadly died earlier this year, yeah.
Yes, he died in July. Suddenly, unexpectedly, so it was a shock. And I was devastated.
For those, I mean, probably romance has tinged so many of your books over the years. You have one of the great romances with Bob, one of the great love stories, one of the great marriages.
55 years of marriage.
For those who find themselves in the position you've done, it's obviously, you've said it's unbearable to lose someone that you're that close. What is the most effective advice you can give to somebody for how to deal with it?
Well, of course, you can't help bereavement if you loved him. And we had a wonderful marriage. We were still very close, even after all those years. We were never bored, or we were always a team, really. He was very involved in my career. I think what I've just said, if you sit at home moping, you'll just fade away. I think you do have to make... It's an effort, because you really do want to sit and cry for quite a long time. And you miss a person who's been next to you for so long. It's like, I felt I'd had half of me taken away. But I think getting out, and I do believe in work. I've been working since I was 15 years old, and I really wouldn't know what to do.
What did you do at 15?
I was in a typist pool on the Yorkshire Evening Post, but I got myself into the reporter's room. You
became the first woman's editor of a newspaper?
Yes, at 18.
Amazing.
And came to Fleet Street when I was 20.
What do you make of the whole Me Too movement, the way that has affected relationships, perhaps, between men and women in the workplace in particular? Well,
I think it was good it came out, although being married to a movie producer, there'd always been jokes for years about the casting couch. But I now think it's gone a little bit too far. There's a lot of decent men out there who are now afraid to be alone with a woman. I've had a hip replacement, and what has cured me quickly, or healed me, is a lot of physical therapy. And I had to tell the young man who comes to make me do awful exercises, which I loathe. I usually like to sit and read a book in my spare time, not do this and whatever. He always has to change the time, because he comes from my surgeon's office and he's got a lot of patients. And I always have made it clear to him there'd be somebody there. But the other day he couldn't make it at a time when my housekeeper was there, and I thought, well, there's only one way to deal with this. I'm going to have to say he's got to be alone in the apartment with me. I was knowing that he wouldn't attack me, or I wouldn't attack him, but I brought it up, and he seemed startled for a moment. He said, I don't know what you're talking about, Barbara. I said, well, my housekeeper can't be here. I can't have a girlfriend here. You're going to be alone with me. Does that bother you? And he said, no, why? I said, well, I'm not going to attack you, Pavel. Well, he said, I'm not going to attack you. He said, I see what you're getting at. And
you think it's overshadowed some of those
I think
relationships that we take for granted?
Yes.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of decent men out there who are now afraid to be with women. and I don't know how you change it.
Well, the pendulum has to swing back a bit, I think.
has
'Cause I think
to.
there's certainly...
Well,
I mean,
there had to be a reckoning, didn't there? Because there were some not very decent men who,
monsters.
unfortunately,
Harvey
did some
Weinstein
terrible...
was apparently... Well, we know I said he's not good-looking enough to be in one of my books last year. But
tell us very quickly, Barbara, about the new book, In the Lion's Den.
Yes.
What's it about?
It's the second book in the Falconer series, and it's about a young man called James Falconer who started life as what I call a barrow boy, but he actually worked at his father's stall in Camden Market. And it's Victorian, it's in the Victorian era. But he has great dreams of being a merchant prince. You might say he's the male Emma Hart.
Got it.
But
Got it.
It wants
and
to
it's billed here as a glorious family saga for Downton Abbey fans.
And there's the 40th anniversary, of course, of the book that made your name, A Woman of Substance.
Can you believe it's still selling?
Amazing. How many copies has that sold, A Woman of Substance?
About 35 million.
35 million copies, one book?
Yes.
My God.
Well, Barbara Taylor Bradford...
Well, you are a woman of
absolutely
substance. An amazing story. From a typing pool to one of the greatest-selling authors in history. An amazing story.
Thank you.
And what a pleasure to have you today. In the Lion's Den is your new book. Family can be a dangerous place, it says it. It certainly can. Barbara, lovely to see you.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
Lovely to see you.
Thank you.